I wanted to talk to you today about what is in your knitting bag. Hi, and welcome to the Wise Owl Knits podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Beckridge, and thank you for joining me today. I've got several things to talk about. One is the really exciting Cowboy Knit Along that begins on Monday, September 1st, and goes through Halloween. And got quite a few people signed up on our Telegram group, and I will link that below, but it's also on my website at wiseowlknits.com/products/cowboy, and there's a link that you can check for that there. I've got my own yarn, which I ordered from Holly at Mystery Mouse Yarns, and these are my colors. My main color is Ghost Riders. So this lovely tonal blue. And then I've got Rose Quartz. Got two of these Turquoise Cowboy. One of Indian Paintbrush. And one of Dry Bones. So I'm not sure exactly which color that I'm working at which part of the pattern, other than I'm sure I will do the longhorns, the cow skull, and the Dry Bones, because I think that's just the most appropriate. But who knows, maybe I'll go rogue and do something else. So anyway, here's a picture of the cowboy if you haven't seen it, and if you still want to join us, there's definitely time. You can participate on Instagram using the hashtag Cowboy KAL 2025, so Cowboy Knit Along 2025. And you can also participate on Telegram. There will be prizes. I've got this lovely bag from Delightful Works, and I'll have yarn from Mystery Mouse and a gift card for wiseowlknits.com. So please join us again September 1st through October 31st. And if you participate on Instagram, hopefully the hashtags will work and I'll be able to see everything. But just in case, when you get your FO, just email me a picture of it, Cheryl@wiseowlknits.com. That way I don't accidentally miss something that is on Instagram. Or also you can tag me on it. Tag Wise Owl Knits when you put your post up. I just don't want to forget anybody or miss something. I definitely want to see all those pictures. So that's the Cowboy Knit Along. I hope you'll join us. It should be really a lot of fun, and I need to get my yarn wound up so that I'm ready to start on Monday, September 1st. Yay! The other thing that I have going on right now is part of a design in progress, and it is a test knit for the Lighthouse sweater, which is the red raglan sweater. Put that over here. That has brioche in the raglan sections. And the test knitters are on that now. They are due to be done by early October, so the pattern should be coming out not long after that. I've got a couple other things that I've been working on. One is, I did the beads tee, and I'm working on a DK version. Well, this is the beads hat. It has not been blocked yet, so it'll look a lot smoother once it has been, but a hat using the beads pattern. And the top, there are no decreases, but I do a 3-needle bind off going both directions. So I'll have a video about how to do that. But on the inside, missed a yarn to work in. The inside looks like this. And it did look like 4 spokes coming out, and then each of those spokes was tied back in, so I just sewed it back in here right at the center. So we've got 4 little things that you can stick your fingers in. on the ends. So really a different way of finishing the hat, but I like how it works, and you don't have to do any knit two together or decreases at all, and that helps you maintain the pattern all the way up to the crown of the hat. The beads hat is knit out of DK weight yarn, and I've used the purple is some yarn that I got from my friend Liz of You and Dye Yarns, and she's no longer dying, but she was kind enough to gift me this skein, and were perfect for this pattern. And the contrasting color is a self-striping DK sock weight yarn, and so that's the blues. It's from, the dyer is, oh Barley, the dyer is Color Me Sheepish, and the colorway is Morning Frost, and she's on Etsy, colormesheepish.etsy.com, so go take a look at that. I got 2 colors from her, and I'm actually doing another, I didn't bring the other ball band out, but another You and I for the main color, and then a self-striping DK weight for the contrast color. And I don't have too much of that done yet, but just a little peek of that. So it's going to have greens and yellows and blues and turquoise, so that should be really pretty too. So that one should be out, I think, within the next couple of weeks. Need to finish getting it written up and pictures taken, and a couple of testers working on that for me. So that one's coming soon. I should put it on. I'll mess up my hair, but I'm looking at my phone to see what it looks like. But there's the top of it. So I need to go down a little bit further. Beads hat just in time for the cooler weather, which we are having now. In Indiana, it was 40 degrees this morning, or in the 40s, not 40 degrees, but upper 40s. I took the dog out for a walk, and I wore my Fraser fur sweater. I've still got on now around noontime. And I was cold. I wished I would have put a jacket on besides my sweater, which is crazy for August in Indiana. And it won't last for very long, but I am really enjoying it while it's here. Love that. I've got another hat that I'm working on, pattern that I'm working on, and this is kind of a redo of a pattern that I did early in my design life, my design career. And when I made it originally, I had a skein of cashmere and silk that was really pretty and green and soft, but it was just not a large skein, and the hat was shorter than I'd like. Here's a picture of it. So I redid it, and I did it so that one of my gals that comes to knit night could knit a cable hat. So this pattern is being rewritten to be a little bit longer, like the other hat probably ended right there. It was truly a beanie, but not something that I wanted to wear, and not really what she was looking for either. So I've made it, done a redo. This is in worsted weight yarn. It's got cable pattern, so in the pattern, the cable pattern is completely written out. It is also completely charted, so whatever way you like, it is there. And that is on my website now. So if you want to get this, it's called the Knit Night Hat. Glasses kind of get in the way of hats. I had been wearing my contacts the last time I went to the eye doctor. She said, you know, if you want to go back to your contact, I just had one contact for reading and didn't need anything for distance. And then I think my distance vision changed a bit, and I wasn't quite as farsighted as I used to be. So she had prescribed glasses, which these are the glasses I got 2 years ago. And then this year, just a couple of months ago, I went back and she said, I think you can go back to wearing your contacts. But I just cannot see as well, especially when I'm driving, and I really appreciate the distance with my contacts. So I'm back in glasses. And they get in the way of a hat just a little bit, but you know, I'd rather be able to see. So that's that. So anyway, sorry for that diversion, but this is the Knit Night hat available at wiseowlknits.com right now. So head on over there and get that. I'll put it on an introductory discount, so 15% off the regular price, and that'll be just for about a week. So run over and get it now. There won't be any coupon code. I'll just put the discount on there so it automatically shows up in your cart. That way you don't have to remember anything, and I don't have to remember anything either. So that's what I've got design-wise. I am still working on the shawl with the brioche, and I did not bring that out here with me, so I actually, after the last podcast, ended up ripping it out and starting over and just kind of reworking the width of the different stitch patterns. So I've got the brioche stitch pattern, and then an open work pattern, and then the brioche. And I had wider sections, and I narrowed those up a bit, and I think I like it a lot more this way. So I'm continuing with that, but that will be a design in progress. I don't know, probably for a month or so. It's kind of slow going, and it's one of those things that I have to work on when I can really concentrate on it. So in other words, when nobody else is home. So you know how that goes. Some things you can just do whenever, and other things you need to settle down a little bit and concentrate on. That's a concentration project. I wanted to talk to you today about what is in your knitting bag. What tools do you carry around with you that you think you need to have if you're going out? I always have a smaller bag like this that I put inside of whatever bag I'm carrying around, so that I've got everything with me if I'm out and about and I need something. And there are certain things that you need to carry along with you. I have been guilty of the bag getting fuller and fuller as time goes on, but I've just kind of cleaned it out, and I've got what I think are the necessities now. And please leave your comments if you have different things that you think are pretty essential. The first thing I think you need is a pen. I like these really thin Sharpies, other than they do bleed through the page a little bit, but I love how they write, and I've got one of these in my bag so that I can make notes on my pattern. I've also got some stitch tubes. And these are the tubes that you can stick on the end of your knitting needle and pull it through your live stitches on your knitting. So you just stick the point of the needle into the end, and then you can just pull this through the stitches, and that way you can stretch your knitting out a little bit more than you can when it's on the needles. Great for trying on a sweater. I've got a couple of different lengths of those here. Or putting in your sleeves when you split for sleeves. Putting in your sleeves when you split for sleeves. Boy, that's hard to say. But anyway, you'll find more and more uses for these the longer you have them. They're just really handy to have along. Next thing you need, a good pair of scissors. And these are scissors that I got from Devin at Knitting McPurley in a nice case. But any good pair of small scissors, and if they look pretty, all the better. So you definitely need scissors, a tape measure, just a small retractable tape measure is always handy. Most directions for patterns have something that you're going to have to measure, whether it's the height of the hat or you need to measure the width of the sweater to make sure your gauge is on track. That is always handy. And along with the tape measure, it's good to have a smaller tool to measure smaller distances. Again, good for checking your gauge. Also, this has all the needle gauge holes, so you can, if you've got a needle in your bag and you don't know what size it is and the markings have worn off, which they do, you can just stick it in here and see what size you are in US sizes and in millimeters. So that's handy. This is one of my favorite knitting things. And for those of us who like to print out our patterns, this highlighter tape is just the best. It's kind of like a Post-it note in that you can stick it on and pull it off and move it. I use this all the time, and you can use one length of tape over and over again throughout the time that you're knitting a different specific project. And one little package, one little roll of this tape will last you for years and years, even if you use it a lot. And I use it a lot. So that is a handy thing. Oh, some hand balm. This happens to be, again, from Knitting McPurley, but your hands get dried out when you're knitting and you don't want to snag your knitting on your rough hands. Always good to have some hand balm. And this comes in this nice little pack that's, you know, works kind of like deodorant that you can roll on and then just put on the top of your hand and work it in. And it's not greasy, or you don't feel like it's getting on your knitting. So once you put it on, you can start knitting right away. So some Knitter's Hand Balm, perfect to have in your bag. Stitch markers. These are magnetic stitch markers, and I really, really like these a lot. I kind of like anything magnetic. I don't know what it is, but these will stick to the bag safe on my phone. So if I have to take some off and I don't have my bag out or container, I can just set it on my phone and it's going to stick to it, which is kind of cool. Where I knit most of the time, I've got a table by the couch, and I've got a little magnetic holder that I've got lots of stitch markers in. But you always need stitch markers when you're out, and you know how they like to jump off and disappear, so you need to have plenty of these around. Sometimes the magnets do help, but they're not foolproof. I've also got some Brittany Birch cable needles. Now, I do a lot of cabling, so I like to keep all 3 sizes, and these come together in one pack. So cable needles. The reason I like these so well is they're small enough that they're not obtrusive when you're cabling, and they've got just this little bit of indentation in the center, so if you stick that in your stitches before you hold them in the front or hold them in the back, they stay put. So Brittany Birch cable needles, always in my notions bag. This little fix-it tool, I forgot the name of it, but I will stick it up on the screen here so that you can see it. But this is great for fixing stockinette stitch. And there is also a way that makes it really easy to ladder up garter stitch or seed stitch. And I'll link, I have a video tutorial on that over on Knitwiser, so I'll link that too. But this Fix-A-Stitch, I believe is what it's called, is a tool that you'll always use. And if you just need a crochet hook, you know, there's one on each end. So that is another good thing to carry around with you. Tapestry needle. If you change colors or if you're finishing your project, you need to work your ends in. Maybe you're sitting at the doctor's office and you're not in the mood to knit, but you've got something with you that just needs a few ends worked in. You've got your tapestry needle, so you can take care of that. Now this is a cool little tool that I got a couple of years ago, I believe off of Etsy. And it's got a needle on each end and then kind of a flexible, bendable part in the middle. I don't know what it's called, but I do like it if, say, you drop a stitch and maybe it's a couple rows down and you want to wait till you get back to it to fix it. You can just stick this in and bend it around and know that you're not going to lose that stitch. And you can go around in a circle if you want to. So it's a handy little tool. I think I got it in a pack of 2 and I still have both of them. That's kind of amazing. But this little tool, and I'll see if I can find it and put a link down for that too. Okay, on kind of the same lines, I've got some progress keepers and some of these just little light bulb markers that you can clip on. You can clip them on at any time for a drop stitch, or maybe you want to add a marker somewhere back on your needle, not right where you are. So you can open these and close them. And then progress keepers. If I'm working on a project, especially a bigger project, I kind of want to know how far I got in the day. So I'll have a couple of these, so I can tell where I started that day and then where I finished. And then I'll leave the finished one there and use the second one for the progress the next day. So progress keepers are great for that, and the little light bulb. They work like safety pins, but the little light bulb safety pins are great for progress keepers or for marking something that you need to mark. So you always need some of those. And then lastly, the last thing in my bag is a couple of these little quilt clips. And they work for a variety of things. Maybe you've got a ball of yarn, you don't want it to unravel, you can kind of clip it together in your bag. If you've got different pages in your pattern and you want to clip those together, there are all kinds of things that you might need these for, and just having a couple of these in your bag is handy. What do you think I missed? Is there something that you have as a must-have that I didn't mention? Probably. I'm sure there's something. So let me know in the comments what you think is the must-haves for your knitting bag. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm really happy to have you here with me. And if you like what you saw today, please put a comment down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much. Bye.